And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to bring on some people to share their story about how and why they got started and what Neora has been able to do for them. So I'm going to start with Wendy Hatton.
Hey, can you hear me okay, Tim?
Totally.
Okay. Hey, everyone. I hope you guys are having a great evening and enjoying some unexpected family time. I know we're truly enjoying that part. Um, my name's Wendy Hatton. Keep it quick. My background, like he was talking about Merrill Norman Cosmetics, I used to own 3 of those. Prior to that, I used to manage 5. I'd worked in the skincare industry over 20 years, okay? Now, that being said, if you own your own business on here, that was tough. It was very stressful, and I loved what I did, but it was just, I was keep putting money in, putting money in, putting money in. So my husband's like, hey, we got to cut our losses. We sold the franchises and got out. Girlfriend reached out to me and she said, you need to do this with me. And I said, hey, I'm never selling anything again. She showed me some before and after pictures. I said, hold up. I'm interested in looking younger. Did not believe the pictures were real. Okay. Again, even after I got out of my franchises, I went to medical grade skincare. I didn't care what it cost. I was fighting aging as fast as I could. And I tried our products and was blown away. I only joined this business to get them free, which a lot of us I know on here are the same thing, because I'm a mom and I thought if I can get these free, then great, that's more money I can spend on my kid. Oh God, this company's been such a blessing. Those business packages are like franchises in a box, people. Basically, 8 months in, it became full-time income for myself. And 2 years in, my husband was able to retire out of corporate America. We do this full-time. You probably picked up on my accent. I'm from a tiny town in eastern Kentucky, Sayersville, Kentucky. It's the highest in the state of Kentucky for unemployment, okay? Doesn't matter where you live, doesn't matter the accent you have. Like Tim said, this company, if you're willing to follow a system and help a lot of people, it'll keep forever change, your life. And I've never been more grateful to have a company I can work from home. So that's kind of like I said, if you're thinking about it, please reach out to whoever invited you on here because it truly, you're going to love it. First of all, you're going to love it when you open it up, take those before pictures. It's going to be like Christmas in a box, and the amount of people that you can help with it. That's the best part of it. So that's kind of my story, and I'll turn it back over to you, Tim.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Wendy. Now we're going to go to Shelly Cotter.
Hello, everyone. Because of this lockdown, I just have to say, and our newer products has my skin looking like super fresh, and I go makeupless most days. So let's applaud that, right? I love what this company has done, the products, what it's done for my skin, my confidence in general. I started this business almost 6 years ago. It'll be six years in a couple days. A friend of mine introduced the company and the products to me. We were both in pharmaceutical sales together. And honestly, at the time, I had no interest in adding yet another thing into my life. My kids were small, full-time working. And the truth is I was just afraid of overcommitting myself. And, how would I get out of this once I said yes? Maybe I don't want to do it much longer, but I just couldn't shake the idea of making a little extra money on the side. Even though my husband and I both financially were doing well, I still wanted a little extra money for myself, that guilt-free cash. And that's really what I was looking for when I first started. And that's what it provided right away. I was able to get my investment back and start making money from there. And just like Wendy said, it wasn't even, 8 months to a year where I was surpassing what I was making in pharmaceuticals. And so it was a beautiful gift that was given to me, completely unexpected. But what it all comes down to is I simply used the products. I loved the products, and I was willing to be a walking testimony for them. And I shared it with friends who were buying the products somewhere anyway. They were either going to an esthetician, they were going to the CVS, they were going to the Nordstrom, spending way more than what they would on Neora products. And here I am able to tell them how our products work so much better. They're cleaner for you and they're more affordable. And by the way, I was showing them my own personal testimony, my own personal before and afters, and sharing all sorts of other before and afters of many other brand partners in the business. So 6 years. I left pharmaceuticals after the first year, and I've been working work from home mother since. And the biggest joy, I would say, is not only do I get to run this business and spend time with many wonderful people, my network has grown, and it's a network of wonderful, smart, happy people. I love that is my circle, but I also I get to continue to help people. But I also get to watch my kids grow up. I put them on the bus. I take them off the bus. Well, when they actually did go to school, but here I am now being able to be this at-home mother and not carry some of those stresses that other people have because their jobs are at stake. So I just want to say that this has been a huge blessing. And if I didn't say yes when I did, my trajectory of my future would have been very, very different. So I'll pass it back to you, Tim.
Thanks so much, Shelly. And now we're going to go to Don Wilkinson in California. I think we got to there you go, unmute your phone. There you go.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Hey, man, thanks for putting this on. I'll tell you, it's a great job. I got to say that appreciate what people are saying. My background was publishing residential real estate magazines. Most people have heard of the Homes and Land magazine network. And back in the 2008, 9, 10, I owned about 8 of those until the market crashed. Lost everything, ended up working for a company I used to own, not knowing what I was going to do. And I got contacted a couple of years later by a friend who offered me a bottle of face cream. And similar to you, I was like, what are you giving this to me for? I don't use face cream. But she also was smart enough to share some information on a video. And it was a video of Jeff Olson talking about certain principles of success that made total sense to me. He talked about the product, the science, the exclusivity, the barrier of entry, the management team, the systems that were in place, which I was, familiar with franchising. And so that made a lot of sense to me. And then he talked about the compensation, which is of interest. And then ultimately talked about the culture, and that what he was going to build and what we were going to build together was a culture of making a difference in people's lives. And, ultimately loving, caring, and sharing. That's a theme we have with the business. It's very true and held out since the beginning to be true. So what I can tell you is I haven't done anything else except this business in 8 years, whatever it's been. And it's just been an amazing ride. And one friend told me, and I've kind of shared this with people, that really what we're doing here is taking people from not knowing to knowing about the product or the opportunity. And then people make the choices they wish to make from there. But I appreciate sharing my experience, and let you go from there, Tim. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Don. And now we're going to go to Teresa Walbrink in California.
Hi, everyone. Blessings, health, and light to all of you. I am so excited. Thank you, Tim, for putting this on. You guys, my background is fitness and nutrition. My husband and I own a medical product development company. So we have 2 things in kind of health and wellness. And honestly, if I was still training people right now, I would not be working. Yet I get to work from home, and there's so many great things that you can do from home. And honestly, I found out about this from a girlfriend of mine. You'll hear from her later. And I came home and asked my husband to go take a listen because I was so impressed with the science. That's what it was for us. We didn't have a lot of before and after pictures when we started 8 years ago. And so he went and took a listen, came home and said, honey, I think we need to get involved with this business. He saw the science, he saw the patents. He does a lot of patent infringement cases and a lot of expert witnessing. And honestly, I am so grateful and so thankful that he said, let's do this, because I had no idea what I was doing. I called my girlfriend. I said, I guess we're joining. I don't know what to do. She said, I don't know either. Just watch the videos. And honestly, my husband said something that was so true, and this is so true for all of us. He said, worst case is we have a write-off at the end of the year. Well, honestly, after that first year, it was the very best case. And I was able to be a very small part of a very big change in a lot of people's lives. And it's not that I'm allergic to money, yet that's not what it's about for me. It is about helping people to realize their hopes and their goals and their dreams. If you were invited on here, someone that loves you, please get back with them. Tim, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Now we're going to go from California to Noblesville, Indiana with Paisha Meismer.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on. I am from Noblesville, Indiana, and my background before Neora was I was in corporate sales. And at that point in my life, honestly, I was very burnt out. I was overwhelmed. I had a 1-year-old son, and I was trying to juggle balancing 40 hours a week and balancing seeing my son. I was seeing him about an hour a day, and it just wasn't good enough for me. I was desperate at that point to find something, but I started looking, and the cost of daycare, part-time work, it was not equaling out in pay. And I was invited to a party. And honestly, I went to support my friend. I had no intentions of even thinking of it as a business opportunity. With the skincare, I didn't take care of my skin, so I would have never thought it was a business opportunity. I didn't even wash my face. So all those out there that are like that, I am like that too, or I was. But I fell in love with the product. I saw before and after photos, like Tim and everybody's saying. Someone shared the before and after photos with me, and I thought, oh my gosh, if that did that to your skin, I'm going to have to use something. So I started using it, and I started loving it. And at that point, it was like, ding, ding, ding. Oh my gosh, what if this is it? And I kept pushing it back. The assumptions that I had already made with direct marketing, and I'm not a skincare expert, and is this really going to work? All those things that, you know, people say to themselves. And I thought, but what if I took a chance and saw that could be that part-time gig that I want to do and stay at home? And I know so many people out there are desperate right now, and they're looking for something. So what if this is it, and why not try it? And that's honestly what I have to share tonight is it's worth the leap. It's so much fun. And for the prices, the products alone are amazing. So if anything worse comes to worse, yeah, it's a tax write-off and you love the products. So that's pretty much my story, and thanks. You can take it back.
Thanks so much, Paisha. Now we're going to go to Vicki and John Downey, ironically in Corona, Florida.
Corona, California. Yeah.
California, not Florida. California.
But it is funny. We live in Corona. But anyway, yes, excited to be on here, and we can echo so many people's comments there. A friend of mine, I used to be a teacher, and a friend of mine shared the product with me. I was completely skeptical. I was criticizing every photograph. The video I criticized. It was out of control. And I went to a party at a friend's house, and now we're doing them online. But when I came home, John became the voice of reason. I told him all about it. We were business owners before, and he said, Vic, this sounds like everything we've been praying for.
Yeah, so we were business owners before, but then I got a regular job, so I became a policeman, and I ended up working for the city of Los Angeles. So I loved my job. I really loved working in the city of Los Angeles, but I was really always looking for that perfect business again. And when Vicki told me about what she saw, I thought this could be it. This is something we can work from home. And really, I saw it as, I guess, just another supplemental income for our family, just another stream of income. And I didn't realize how significant that stream of income ended up being. It wasn't very much longer, and it was quite a bit. And it got to the point where I was able to retire from my job as a policeman about 9 years earlier than I had planned, which, not that I didn't want to continue being a policeman. Like I said, I loved it, but I love my family more. And like Tim said, we get to work from home. What a blessing that is. So we get to work from home and actually help other people. So I'm telling you, the other thing too, when we saw this, we didn't pass on it, and we didn't hesitate. When we saw the opportunity, we said, we've got to jump on board and do this. And I'm so glad we did, because it has completely changed our lives. Thanks, Tim.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Vicki and John. And now we're going to go to one of my favorite people who's helped me out recently so much, is Anna Camp in California.
Hey, Tim, thanks for having me on, and thanks for putting this together. Hi, everybody out there. I live here in Southern California, Anna Camp, and when Neora found me, I say it that way because I really believe this company finds us, but when Neora found me, I was working a business of my own. I don't know how many of you out there have had or have a traditional business of your own, but boy, talk about the amount of risk that you take. And I was working 50, 60 hours a week. I had a massive amount of overhead every single month. The last person that got paid was me. And thank goodness it was semi-thriving. But in the process of that, in the process of getting to a point where I was getting it off the ground, I was also going into a lot of credit card debt. And as I said, just working a ridiculous amount of hours. And when when Neora found me, it found me in the hands of a 6'5" man. And I really thought he was crazy. I thought, what man knows anything about skincare? We have a lot of men in the business, by the way. But I didn't really believe it. But when I saw the before and after pictures that he had, all I could think was, oh my gosh, I want some of that. And I wasn't buying anything for myself. And he was so great. I was thrilled when he gave me a bottle. He said, just take it home for a couple days, try it, see what you think. And I knew right away in trying it that my skin felt different, the texture was different, and I couldn't stand it. I literally couldn't sleep because I kept thinking, well, this person would want it and that person would want it. And I ended up buying a business pack. I bought the biggest business pack for $1,000. My credit card should not have gone through. I was in about $50,000 of credit card debt and on the verge of losing my home. And it was the best thing I ever did. And the best thing I ever did really in that moment was jumping quickly because I just literally handed 10 of those bottles out to my friends. We took our before pictures. 25 days later, we took our after pictures, and it was so obvious. There was photographic, absolute proof that the product worked. And from then on, it went from my head where I thought, well, there's no way, to my heart, and knowing that I had something that was really going to help people look better and ultimately now with all of the products feel better, think better, and of course live better too. So I just want to encourage you. We have already done all the work. We already know the product works. We already have a system that works. And whoever put you on here tonight, get back to them because they loved you enough and cared enough about you to get out of their comfort zone and invite you on. So get your questions answered, definitely. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Tim. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Anna. And we're going to close out now. So, like Anna said, get back with the person inviting you on the Zoom, but I'm going to leave it with a person who was named our brand partner of the year last year. And you're going to see why, because she's full of energy, but she leads with her heart. So we're going to go to Louisville, Kentucky to Jennifer Givens.
Hello, everyone. Every time someone says that, I suddenly crawl into a hole and get uncomfortable. Not that I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, but the brand partner part. So just so you guys know, my background is in nursing. I've been a nurse for, what is this year? 18 years now. And I was originally a pediatric oncology nurse. And when I was introduced to Neora, I was actually teaching nursing in a college. So I taught days, nights, and online, and had actually been enrolled as a full-time student as well, getting my master's in nursing. Not because I had a super profound love for education or anything, but because that was the only option I knew to create more income for our family. So at that time, my children were 9 months old, 3 and 8. So basically my life was sheer and utter chaos at every second of every day. And if anyone had told me you will also add a business to this plate, I would have thought, I probably would have been committed to an institution, honestly. But when I did it, when I joined it, I didn't see it for that. I really didn't, if I'm being honest. I really liked the product. I'd used it for a whopping 10 days. I really liked the product. And to me, I enrolled with one of the packs because it was the best deal. So that's who I am by nature. If I went to, I wish I could go to Chick-fil-A right now. If I went to Chick-fil-A right now, I would figure out the cheapest way to get the chicken nuggets that we needed. That's just how my brain operates. And so for me, it was the best value. That's what I saw in the bigger packages, was the best value for my dollar. And I figured worst case scenario, I'll use the products. And if no one ever wants them, whatever, I got a great discount going forward, right? But that's not what happened. It was in the beginning, it was a little bit of extra income for us. It was, grocery bill. Then I remember the day we could pay the babysitter with this money. It was like it was something totally separate. Then it was, oh my gosh, we can pay our son's school tuition with this money, which was huge for us because that came out of our savings account every year, which I don't know where we thought it was going to keep coming back from, but whatever. And then inevitably it did replace my entire income, paid off my student loan for the master's degree that I got, and also eventually replaced my husband's income. So I don't say those things for any other reason besides to maybe give you a little hope that this was not something I would have ever looked at. I didn't even know it was an option, to be bluntly honest. To me, my only option that I knew traditionally was schooling. So to do something like this was very much out of my character. It was very uncomfortable for me. I was determined and bound that I would never change who I was. And I have to tell you guys that I didn't. I'm still very authentic. I still say what's on my mind. I still lead with my heart. I still help a lot of people in a different way now, but in my opinion, a much more fun way, right? Trying to save lives every day. And so in this instance, I feel like sometimes you get something that you didn't even know there was going to be a reason that you needed it. And for some of you on here, I do not want to downplay what you may be experiencing. I'm going to get choked up talking about it. I don't want to downplay what you might be experiencing in your life right now. And I don't want you to think that any person who just spoke before me is trying to take advantage of that. We truly know in our hearts, or else we wouldn't be on here, what this has done for our own families and for so many families of other people that we know and love. And we desperately want to offer you something that could potentially help you as well. And so I hope that that comes across to you all through this. I hope that you got some of your questions answered through what Tim presented earlier so greatly for you all, and through some of the before and afters, maybe built a little belief in you for what you would be able to offer to be able to help other people in a time of need, in a time where honestly, not only do people, they're still going to be purchasing anti-aging. That's historical data, right? Anti-aging and wellness, they're going to be purchasing those anyways. But in a time where people need community, they need positivity, they need what we are and what we've always been here as a company. And so I pray that if nothing else, you'll try some of our products, but hopefully you'll see this as a viable option for something that you can do at a time right now when we are searching for ways to find a positive in our day, right? I promise you that if nothing else, the people here will surround you. Just to mention this to you guys, because I do think it's very unique. A lot of the people, most people who spoke on here are not linked through any kind of whatever you want to call it. I never knew what any of it meant before I started, so I'm not even going to try to pretend like you do. We are all independent of one another, but that's the culture of the company. It truly is one that works together, that lifts people up, that cheers people on for their successes. And I promise you, you would have a whole team of people, slew of people, human beings, loving you, holding your hand along the way, plugging into this system, and hopefully helping you reach whatever goal that you're trying to earn from this company as well. So we all, on behalf of all of us and whomever invited you on here, we thank you so much for taking time out of your night to listen in. Please get back to whomever invited you, ask them whatever additional questions you have. I promise you we're open books. They'll answer anything you want to know, and hopefully we'll have you a part of our Neora family in some way, shape, or form. So thanks for having me on, guys, and thanks to all of you for joining us as well. Good night, everyone, and thank you to all of our service workers. We love you so much forever and